Okay, hello guys. So today we are talking about the introduction to MATLAB that we covered in our lectures. We would like to go through our lecture of lecture 27 that talking about MATLABs. So we started the lecture by talking about MATLAB background. Like to know very important things we discussed in detail in the lecture, but just to remind you, we say that MATLAB is an interpreter and is not MATLAB is not like a compiler-oriented programming language. It's an interpreter, and we should know what's the difference very quick between interpreter and compiler-oriented programming language. As we said in Java, if you have a program like this, we have A equal 12, B equal 20, Z equals C plus B. So if you do that in Java, the program won't run, because before running the program, Java do compile the program to check for every single statement and synthesis inside the program to be correct in terms of syntax. And here, for example, assuming there's a semicolon, but here is correct, but here C is not defined. So the Java program would not run. The opposite side, interpreter programming language or platform such as MATLAB would not lock for the whole program before running, but it could be run sentence by sentence, statement by statement. So this one is correct, would be run and have its value. This one is correct, this would be run. But up to reach where the error in, it will say, no, this is error here, and stop executing your remaining program. So it's execute line by line code, run even if there's an error. It's raise error only when you reach an error line. It's unlike compilers, which check the whole program for error before running. And here, for example, it's the semicolon. Semicolon is a very important thing in Java, but here in MATLAB it's an optional part. So semicolon is optional. It's only used if you have a MATLAB file like this. So if you put a semicolon here, so B here will not appear here, will not displayed in a command window, but still available in the workspace. At the same time, 12 doesn't have a semicolon, so it's appear here, and at the same time it's found here. This is very quick about that. And if we go just to remind you guys with the MATLAB and the code and these kind of stuffs here, this is a MATLAB Desktop. And again, to remind you, this part is called a count folder. And in count folder, you can find all scripts that you are creating. And here it's called the command window. And in command window, you can write a command like A equal 12. It totally appeared here. That's called command window. You can use this command window to execute line by line statements. If you don't like to use this script here, this is called the command window. And this is a workspace, and in workspace, you can find any variable you created is here, and it's determined matrix. So let you know that any variable is created in MATLAB is by default a matrix or an array. So if you said A equal 12 and a semicolon here, so you don't have results here. Let's do B, for example, equal 12 and a semicolon. You have a B value here, but you still have a B here in the workspace. So in this workspace, the values of every single variable will be available here. But command window will appear only if you don't have a semicolon. So, and to remind you again, guys, let us get rid of that and we create from the beginning a new script. So the command window, as long as you don't have a scripts here, files here, this command window will be positioning like this, and you can find the menu like this. But if you start here to create a script, just again to remind you how to create script, is from new and script, and it's created automatically here, and it's called untitled. And you can see here the menu for over here is increased. You have an editor now, you have a publish, you have something else. An editor here, this is the most important thing for us. We use for saving, for running in different ways, and so on. It's created as untitled at the beginning, as we said, and you can save and rename it when you first save it. As the first time you save, you can rename your file here. If we go back to our lecture here of MATLAB, so here we talked about two things. What's interpreter? We will check that. And again, what's the semicolon is used, and we check that. And we have a lot of very popular command in MATLAB, like CLC, like clear, like diary, exit who and who's, and so on. So let's go with section 1 here and try to check that how it's work here. If you go to our MATLAB here, so we do have a script here, and we have let's set this a command called clear. If you do a clear here at the command window and you click enter, take a look here. Clear is clearing the variable from the workspace, which means destroying the variable. So if I click clear here, no variables found here. Unlike CLC, CLC just clear the command window. I do have command windows here, just CLC to clear this one. Now, I would do equal A equal 12 and B equal 20 and C equal A plus G. So that now A equal 12 is okay. You don't have a problem with that. B equal 20 is okay. I don't have a problem with that. But C equal A plus G is the first time G to be appeared, and it is mathematically summation which should have a value, should have a value, and it doesn't have any value right now. The first time you try to run to untitled program, the program will ask you to rename it, to call it a name here. So we said as first, I call it first here. This is our script, and it's .m, and it's found here in a current folder. And it's already run and have a value of A equal 12, a value of B equal 20, which is okay, and comes here at C, and it said it's undefined variable G. That's the meaning of interpreter. It means if this one is correct, I will execute it and have a value here and have results here. If this one is correct, I do execute it. If this one is not correct, when I reach it, I will stop executing. So I will not stop executing unless I reach what? The error. If you do that with Java, for example, that won't work. If this is not correct, this whole program will not run. Even try to run it before checking everything is okay in the program. To check again the semicolon here, let's do a semicolon here and try to run again. So you would have a result of A equal 12 because there's no semicolon here, and result B is not appeared here, but it's still available here. And here reach an error, it raises an error here. So that's what means interpreter. That's the use of semicolon. That's the use of CLC and clear and these keywords. Another one which is maybe important is called array. So if you do an array here, what happened is you have created a file, and there here is a text file. It will record all the commands you do here. So if you do A equal 30 and D equal 20 and so on, and Z equal A plus D, and when you finish, you just do array off. If you open this file here, this is a text file, you would find whatever you did here between array and array off is recorded here. Sometimes we do that, we use that, we need that. Sometimes not, just let you know about that. So this is for the first section. We talked about what the meaning of interpreter in MATLAB, what the meaning of semicolon is used in MATLAB, and this is commands. We do have who and whose. We'll talk about that right now. Section 2, we talked about the variables and assignment. And any programming language, first thing you care about the variable. How can I create variable? How can I declare a variable? How can I assign value inside this variable? And how can I take value from user and put it inside this value? This is challenging. In Java, for example, we do that, declaring at the beginning integer x and so on. But here in MATLAB, it's surprising. And surprising part is, very quickly here in this variable, we said that you don't need to declare a variable. Really? I don't need to say integer or double. What's going to happen is just assign, just put a value inside your variable. Just say x equal 10, and based on this value, this variable will be declared. So for example, if you put a numeric value inside your variable, this one will be by default created as double. If you put characters, we create as character. If you put 1 and 0, true and false, it will be created as logical. So no need at all to say in advance, this is integer, this is boolean, this is string, this is character. No, just put a value here. When the value is put, the compiler is intelligent enough to know this is numeric, and we assign it by default as double. And be aware that every single variable with a numeric will be declared as double, not an integer. And another surprising thing here in MATLAB, all the variables are arrays by default, and actually matrices, not arrays. By default is arrays. So for example, if I have something like this, so I have A as equal 10, so A now is double array, B is a logical because it have true inside it, C is a character array. And that's mean here, A of 1 equal 10. And you can see as A is an array, see, in MATLAB, we don't use a brackets for array, we use a parentheses. This is the first thing. So note two important things here. We use a parentheses, not a brackets in MATLAB. Second thing is array index start from 1, not 0. So Java start from, if you remember, from 0. But here we start only from 1. And the array of characters is not a string. So the first element is array C is H, not the word hello. Okay, and so on. You can find here, as we said, this is a character array characters. So it uses two things: to the parentheses or the brackets, and this array index of MATLAB is starting from 1. This is very important, and at any time you can use a keyword hose with the variable name here. You can find a description of the variable. This is A, it's size 1 by 1 because it has only one value in byte 8, and the class is double. And why it is double? Because you put already like inserted a numeric value inside it here. Okay, so this is oh yeah, so before ending the second section, if you do in specific want to declare your array or your variable as an integer, not relying on a default, guys, you have to specify that. And here in MATLAB, you don't have an integer, just a keyword, but an integer with some size. Integer is, this is the range of it, so it's a very small. It's holding all the variables between this value and this value. If you'd like to be 16-bit and so on, this is signed and this is unsigned integer. So you have to say that x is an integer of 20. So 20 now, or x now is created as an integer. Okay, and last thing in variable before we go to our demo, you can ask user to enter value. So now it's easy for us in MATLAB just to use assigning. So say x equals something, and based on this thing, this x will be declared. And how to use get an input from the user using a keyword input. You just say x equal input, and the message is here, please enter something. And based on, take care guys, based on the value you enter to user, the MATLAB will expect an input from you, and whatever you entered here will go in X and define its type. So this is a message you created here. So for example, if you said please enter value and the user entered 20, that means this 20 will go to X and X will be declared as double, which is a default here. This is was for the section number 2, and section number 3 is nothing new to go through quickly here. Section number 3, sorry about that, this is the old one. Okay, so section number 3 is called about the numeric expressions, like if you what is the submission, because in a new programming language, when you deal with, you have to be aware what the type of the mathematical operators or arithmetic operators you have. So the plus or the addition is still a plus, or it's something else. So for here you can see for the arithmetic operators, the plus, the subtraction, the multiplication. I'm not sure as an exponentiation. If you would like to do a square, this is a symbol of that. And the priority is the same, multiplication, parentheses, left to right, and so on. Nothing new. And I think is a new here is not equal. So the equal is the same like Java, but not equal is not is done like this. So this is the not equal here, which could be new. And here as well, you have a logical operator with and or and not. You can use the one to the left here using this symbol in MATLAB. You still can use that. This is a not from MATLAB, and you can use a built-in saved method or built-in function in MATLAB like and or and not and so on. And this is a demo for today, and we will start now using our code. So the variables. If you said here let us clear this one here and work it down here. So if, for example, and this is clear the workspace too, A equal 20. I don't put a semicolon, so I have a results here of A. And what's the type of A? As you put a 20 here, at any time, as I said, you can say who's A. You would have A is an array or a matrix, size 1 by 1, and double class because you put 20. If you set B equal true, I think true is a small, true like this. So B is created like who's B? P is a one-of-one matrix. Its class is logical. MATLAB logical means it is a Boolean in Java, which is holding 0 and 1, true and false. And C here, I would say equal hello. And here, if I said who's C, so C class is a character by 10, and here it's 1 by 5. Why? As we said, because this one is created an array. Every single character is an element of that array. Okay? Okay. So, what else? I have here 3 variables. A is 20. As I said, A is a matrix. If you double click on this one here, you would find it here appear like a matrix format with this value here as 20, and as well if you inserted something else. So if we deal with it as an array, we can say A of 1 and take a look here of the parentheses. We use the parentheses, guys. We are not using brackets anymore, even with array. And its value, let it start from 1, which is mean the first element in that array, which is by default should be the 20 here. So it's 20. And I can put value here inside the second part here by saying A of 2, which should be the second element, is assigned to 30. So that's mean this one, see, will assign to 30, and it's extended here to 30. We will talk later more about arrays, but for now, array could be two-dimensional. So this is the first row, this is the first column, second column, ending thing starting from 1. I can say here A of 2 and 1 equal 40. And that means the second row and the first element equal 40, which should be put here. So 40. That is 40 button here, and this is created to 0 because for sure you would put something here. It could be 2 by 2 or variables. So that's arrays. If you take a look at B here, this is here again, and B of 1 is 1, which is true. And you can put inside B of 2 to be 0, which is false. So you have a 0 here, and so on. This is an array, guys, by default. It's defined as an array. But for character, C of 1 is only the H. So this one is created. So if you see that, it's ready here really as a hello, but it's treated as every single character as a separated like element of the array. So C of 2, let us try something. Can I do C of 2 equal G? What's going to happen here? See? So it replaced the E, which was in hello, with G. So that's how can I deal with these kind of variables. So anything else we talked about here? So in variables, this is a double in characters, this is a who's and parentheses. If you do want an integer, let's try this integer here. So if I said, for example, y equal integer 16 of 10, is integer 16 of 10, take care, and z equal integer 8, let's do like this, integer 8 of 3. It's integer 8 of 3. So we have two integers, 10 and y and z. What happened if I divided y by z here? What happened? Oh, see? So this is not correct because it's not of the same class. Why is same class? This is integer 8, this is integer 16. Okay, let's do it like this. Integer 16, 3. And y divided by z. It's 3. It's 3 because I declared it as y, as integers. Okay, but 10 divided by 3 is by default 3.3. So it's truncated because they are both integer, and the result of dividing integer by integer is integer. Truncated is a decimal part. But if you said t equal 10 and u, for example, equal 3, they are by default created as double. When you say t divided by u, you have 3.333. So because they are declared as double. So MATLAB really take care of that. You don't care about that, so it's by default declared as double, unless you would like it to be really like integer. Oh, that was really important about that. We did about the arithmetic operations, the decimal, not equal, and so on. Let's go with this one here, the demo, very quick. Oh yeah, we forget to talk about the input. So I can say x input, x equal input, x equal input, and please, sorry, should be, oh, and there should be single quotation. Please enter a value. So now if you do that and just click enter, this message will appear here and waiting for what? Waiting for an value to be entered. So I put 20, for example. So x now is equal 20, and if you said who's x, you would have it as double here, which is very clear because I bought a numerical value. So I can accept input from user very easily just by using the input keyword, and based on the number, character, boolean, whatever I entered here, this is go to the variable I say I bought it here, and it's define its type. Let's go with the demo here. Let's ask it to create a MATLAB script, write a program to calculate the value of z. Z equal is this equation, and it should ask you to enter all these values. And if I do that, how many inputs I have here? How many variables should I ask user to enter? I should ask user to enter the x, enter the y, enter the l, enter the m. I should write 4 input statements to ask user enter that. So here I will say, for example, y equal input, please enter y. I like the colons, and I put a semicolon here. This one here should be repeated 4 times. 2, 3, and 4. With y, with l, with m, and y, x, y, l, m, x, y, l, m, and with x. So s, y, l, m. And then I will define the value of z for this equation equal x multiplied with something. X multiplied with y squared. So y squared would be between parentheses like this. Y is this symbol too. And this is divided by something here. Divided by square root of L minus M. So divided by SQRT is a built-in function MATLAB used for square root L minus M. L minus M, is that correct? Yeah. So now this is an equation here. That's it. I don't have to do main function, to have classes or anything. Just write down that, and we'll deal through this command window. So if you run that, you would ask it to do whatever of this. What's the difference between I putting a semicolon here and not put a semicolon here? And for example, at Z, when I didn't put a semicolon, That means it will be calculated, and by default it's appeared as the results here. Let's go with that. So it asks me to enter Y, for example 10, enter L 20, anything, 30 for or Y, so I didn't read that. Okay, so 40, and so Z equal this value. All the values are available here in the workspace, and a value of Z as well. Let us go with this first, change that to M, change this one to X, and let us, for example, leave this without a semicolon. When I put a semicolon here, no values of these values appeared down. So, but if you remove a semicolon here, let's go like this. Let's do a clear here. If you run that here, we ask for Y, okay, 10. Ask for L, okay, 20. Ask for M, okay, 30. See, now it's asked for X with no semicolon. So whatever you bought here, 50 for example, it will again appear like this because you don't have a semicolon. And the program ended because here at Z calculation you have a semicolon, so it will not appear here, but Z is already calculated. If you want to see Z at any time, you can see this like this. If you want to see what is Z, you can see whose Z is double, but it's a complex because this value is complex here. Okay, so that's why our demo is very easy, very simple, how to use MATLAB and everything for that. I hope you get a better understanding for that, and see you on the next lecture. Thank you. Bye-bye.